So now let's move on to the hands-on part of our activity here with knife skills. So I'm going to wash my hands or use hand sanitizer and put on gloves so we keep our vegetables safe from any bacteria. Okay, so the first cut we're going to do is the slice, and we're going to perform this cut with a carrot. Is get our proper hand technique, which is the claw, so we keep our fingers safe. And I'm going to use our chef's knife today. So the way we're going to do this is move tip to heel on the knife, tip to heel, keeping the knife on the cutting board the entire time. That is what keeps us safe from cuts. So what we're going to do, instead of moving our knife down the carrot, is move our carrot through the knife as we slice. That way we keep our fingers safe and keep ourselves safe from any cuts. So here we go. Again, get properly gripped on the knife. Remember, your thumb and your index finger can grip here on the handle, or it can choke up if the knife is too small for you. But this is a good size knife for me, so I'm going to grip back here with my thumb and index finger on the actual handle. So we got our tip of the knife on the cutting board, and we're going to slowly move it back to the heel and do that over and over as we move our carrot through the knife. And so you saw my fingers get kind of close to that blade, so I'm going to move them further back as I keep going, moving tip to heel with the knife, making slices on our carrot. So as you can see, we got sliced carrots, and I never took my knife off of the cutting board. Remember that. We always want to keep the tip of our knife on the cutting board when we're performing a slice cut like that with the carrot. That's the slice. Now we're going to move onto a chop, and we're using an onion to demonstrate that. The first thing I'm going to do with this onion is cut the ends off. Again, tuck our fingers in, having that claw motion, and carefully cut your ends off of your onion. You've got to hold the onion pretty securely when you're cutting the ends off so the onion does not slip out from under you. So I have the ends off of my onion, and I have a flat surface, but I'm going to cut this onion in half next to create an even larger flat surface. So just like we talked about with the slice, tip to heel, cut your onion in half, and you have two flat surfaces here. Flat surfaces keep it safe from cutting your fingers or cutting your hands. It keeps the vegetables from sliding around. So I'm going to take this slice, peel it off, or take this half of the onion, peel the skin off. When you slice it in half like that, it makes it more easy to peel this skin off. If you do it before, it can be kind of tough to get all of the skin off that you need to get off in order to make it edible. So, okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do after we've got our skin peeled off is cut horizontally into the onion like this, making sure your fingers are still tucked in. And we're going to do that again for however many times you see best for your recipe and however small you want your onion chops to be. So for this particular onion, I'm going to do 3 horizontal slices inward. Then I'm going to go across the top of the onion and do about 3 or 4 vertical slices onto the onion. And then once that's done, we want to go over the top, moving back to go across both horizontal cuts and vertical cuts that we made so we can have a nice chopped onion. So again, I got my tip of the knife on the cutting board to keep it safe, moving backwards like that to make a nice chopped onion. So So there you have it. The slice and the chop are our last cut of the day, which is going to be a dice. And we're going to use a potato to perform the dice. So the first thing we want to do is peel our potato. And I have this potato peeler. Also, you can use a knife if you don't have a peeler. Just be very careful and use proper technique when using a knife. Now that we've got our potato peeled, we're ready to dice it. So the first thing we're going to do is slice right down the middle. Again, be careful, keep your fingers tucked in, and you might have to press really hard. So now we have two flat sides for our potato. So that keeps it safe again from falling off the cutting board or your knife slipping. So now we're going to make some slices down the potato. Again, keep your claw. So now that we have our slices, we're going to make slices across those slices going the other way to make our dices. And let's do like we did with the carrot. Simply move the potato or whatever vegetable you're using to perform the dice through the knife. So now you're going to have a dice. So like we discussed earlier, a dice is a square. They're not going to be perfectly squared because we did not square off our potato. So squaring off our potato would look something like this. And then we would have to square off this side, and then we would have to square off that side to make actual perfect dices. So I'll just show you what it would look like. But that way you waste so much of the potato. So here we go again, slicing down the potato. Now we have more of an actual square versus over here when we cut the rounded potato, we had more rounded dices. So, and that is how you dice a potato. Thanks for attending my knife skills session.